Hello, everyone. Welcome to Blue Jackets, a fun Blue Jackets themed podcast. My name is Kevin. Joining me tonight, we have my guy, Hefty Duck, my guy, Owen, my guy, the man of truth, Mr. Young Beezer, and my guy, William. A lot of stuff going on in the Blue Jackets world. Uh, Blue Jackets prospect Luca Pinelli signs a 3-year deal that starts next season. Also signed a PTO so that he can play for the Monsters in the Calder Cup Playoffs. We'll talk about that. I made a tweet on the Blue Jackets Twitter account that, got some people
Triggered.
Oh my god, it was bad. It's just like
Trigger warning. We talk about Michigan. Holy shit. Don't lose your fucking pants on this
I
one.
know. Look, and we'll talk about it more later on in the show, but the basic point of the tweet is you look at it's becoming a long list of players that have played for Michigan but have also played for the Blue Jackets, and the Blue Jackets have benefited from Michigan being good at hockey, which is objectively true, but some people, fail reading comprehension in that regard, in my opinion, and that really got people going. It is what it is. But we'll talk about that. The Monsters have made the Calder Cup playoffs, and they are the North Division champions.
Hell
Talk
yeah.
about that. And Blue Jackets prospect William Whitelaw. He's going to Michigan. We'll talk about that. And some potential, GM news on who the GM for the Blue Jackets might be. So we'll talk about that as well and so much more. So welcome to the show, everyone.
Oh, yeah. Welcome in, everybody. Just want to give a quick shout out to our audio listeners out there. You guys have been rocking it here on Spotify, Apple Music, and all other places here recently. Also, to everyone who watches on Twitter, y'all been killing it too. We appreciate every one of you. Wherever you're watching that, don't forget to like and share and do the things with the buttons that you know how to do. So yeah, as my co-host here, Kevin, mentioned just a little bit ago, Luca Pinelli. He signed to the Monsters on a PTO, and so he can play in the Calder Cup Championship. But he also signed a 3-year entry-level contract at $878,333 for 3 years, and he will be an RFA after that. So far, he had been playing for the Ottawa 67s this last year. He played in 68 games, had 48 goals and 34 assists for a total of 82 points. And, generally players are playing, and he also had 44 penalty minutes. But generally, players are playing like around their fellow like skill level teams and everything. So it's, in my opinion, it's pretty impressive that he was able to get that many points in one season with the 67s. He was their captain this year too. 68, so 82 points in 68 games. That comes out to probably like 1.1 points per game or something like that. I might be exaggerating on that. I'm not entirely sure, but pretty exciting. Can't wait to see what he does. I'm curious if they will use him in the Calder Cup playoffs. What do you guys think? He's gonna show up? He's gonna fill in for somebody?
Well,
I think he will.
Yeah.
You don't.
Same.
If from a Blue Jackets perspective, you don't do what you did with him if you don't plan on using him in the playoffs for the Monsters, because they could have just did what they did with Gavin Brindley, which is give him a 3-year contract starting now and not have him play in the playoffs. But they didn't do that. They made the decision to give him the 3-year contract, but officially the contract does not start with the Blue Jackets until next season. And because of that, he's allowed to go play for the Monsters in the playoffs. So I would not be surprised if he did actually play in the playoffs. I mean, 48 goals a season. That's pretty damn good, regardless of where you play. That's
Yeah.
that's pretty good. And it'll just
So
be interesting to see how this goes and how he can, projects himself and how he continues to develop. And if he's that sort of guy, or maybe he is a good player in a different way. But it'll be interesting to see how this goes for Luca Pinelli.
yeah, in 3 seasons with the Ottawa 67s, 194 games played. Now it says 4 here, but I think they're counting Elite Prospects has like 24, 25 on here already, and it says 67s there. So I think it's only 3 years. So anyway, 194 games, 91 goals, 90 assists for a total of 181 points. That is a 0.93 point per game for your career. That's absolutely crazy. And oh, hey, we got some comments here from the wonderful Jason Newland. He's a writer over at the Hockey News. And he says Pinelli is too young to play in the AHL next season. So this is a good way to get him some good experience. Yeah, huh. So I'm curious as to where he may go. Because right now he is 19 years old. So, what you're saying is that you think that this is kind of helping to beef up in preparation for the next season. Because I could see that as well. These young guys. I was just talking about this with someone the other day. One of the biggest things these guys need, because Blue Jackets have an incredibly talented prospect pool, is they simply need to gain some weight, need to gain some muscle, just need to get bigger, and that happens with time. When you're very young and your metabolism's super high, it can be hard to try to gain muscle. I've heard some crazy stories about Ken Johnson's diet and how he's trying to gain weight and everything like that. But so Jason just says that he'll stay with Ottawa. Right on. Yeah, I would not be surprised if that were the case. He's still a young guy. He seems pretty dominant at that level. So if they were to bring him up, I'm sure someone might think that's a good idea.
Give him his first taste of pro hockey in a really gritty league to see how he'll, respond.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you still have all the other guys and the Monsters that have been killing it so far this year. The Blue Jackets, they sent 6 players down to the Monsters, which is they're top 2 lines basically. Now there's a couple defensemen in there too, but I just thought it was kind of funny. But yeah, so then let's move on to the Monsters a little bit. So for the very first time ever, the Cleveland Monsters won the Northern Division. They came in first place in the regular season in the Northern Division. I say the first time ever, because even though they previously won the Calder Cup, they were in the AHL Central Division. They were not in the Northern Division yet, and at the time they were called the Lake Erie Monsters, I believe.
Yes.
And not the Cleveland Monsters. So it's little facts and technicalities and shit like that I like. So their first game in the playoffs is going to be in the North Division semifinals against the winner of the Toronto Marlies and the Belleville Senators or Sens. And what do you guys think? What's their odds this year? I mean, they got a lot of guys who have some NHL experience. The other teams are going to be looking to be strong too, with how the season ends and people get sent down, or they're in the playoffs in the NHL. So, what do you think? Could they make it? They have a shot this year.
Well, if you were at any point in time during this season for the Blue Jackets, if you were paying attention to Twitter and just that in general, at any point in time during the season, you would have seen that the talk about the Monsters has been, hey, this could be a team that could be good enough to make the playoffs and potentially go on a run to try and get the Calder Cup, and maybe they get it. And the way that they were playing, it certainly backed up that claim that, yes, that this potentially could be a team that could be good enough to make the playoffs and then go on a run to get the Calder Cup potentially, and then when we had Dina Weinhammer on the show, one of the the Monsters writers, we had she talked about the Monsters on the show, and we asked her, okay, what are your thoughts about the Monsters, and is this a team that maybe could be good enough to go make the playoffs and then go on a run to the Calder Cup? And Dina said yes, that this is a team that could be good enough to make the playoffs and then go on a run to make the Calder Cup and get it. And step one of that equation is done. They've been proven to be good enough to make the playoffs. Now it's just a matter of can they prove that they're good enough to go on a run to the Calder Cup? And when you look at how they played and all the talent that they have down there, that's an absolute possibility that it could be done. So it'll be interesting to see how this goes, how far they go. And obviously, the more games that they play, that's not only good for the Monsters, that's good for the Blue Jackets, and it's good for their development, because when the Monsters went on that run in 2016 to the Calder Cup and eventually win it, a lot of those guys that were on that team, like Anton Forsberg, Jonas Korpisalo, Josh Anderson, Oliver Bjorkstrand, Lucas Sedlak, Marcus Hannakainen, and
Zach Werenski.
Zach Werenski, and you can just go down the list of a whole bunch of guys that were on that team that eventually went on to play for the Blue Jackets and eventually contributed to the Blue Jackets making 4 straight trips to the playoffs and 108-point season with 16 games wins in a row and knocking out Tampa Bay and Toronto in the playoffs and all this good stuff. So that's all. Ideally, that's the ultimate goal. That's what you want from the Monsters in this and the position that they currently are. Do what they did in 2016. It'll just be interesting to see how this goes and how far they can take it.
Yeah, I think one of the big keys here, in my opinion, is one of these future Blue Jackets goaltenders, Jet Greaves. He is currently the most winningest goalie that the Cleveland Monsters have ever had. He holds the record for most wins for the Cleveland Monsters as a goalie. And this last year, just take a listen to these stats real quick. For the Monsters, he played 46 games. He had 2.93 goals against average, which is not the greatest. It's also not that bad. And then he had a 0.910 save percentage, which I think is excellent. He had 1 shutout. He had 30 wins, 12 losses, and 4 ties. That's pretty solid. I'm looking forward to seeing what he does, some more NHL time for him, because when he was on the Blue Jackets this year, he doesn't have that bad of a record for a rookie guy. He only had 1 NHL game before this. No, that was in 2023-22. And so this year in the NHL, he had 9 games. He had a 3.49 goals against average, but he also had a 908 save percentage. No shutouts, but he was 3 wins, 6 losses, which, once again, he has primarily been an AHL goalie. So I'm looking forward to him. Do any of the rest of you guys, are there any certain keys or certain players that you'd be looking at to really shine out in this playoffs? Owen, do you got anyone you're looking at?
Me personally, obviously Jet Greaves, but Trey Fix-Wolanski, that guy's an absolute monster.
Pun intended.
I didn't even mean to do it, but guy's an absolute stud. Played a lot of time up in Columbus, even though we had an injury depleted roster. He is an NHL player playing in the AHL for the Monsters. And just looking at the overall talent, you could arguably say that this group may be more talented than 2016.
Yeah.
Especially with Jet Greaves, having a goalie like that and backing you up. And of course, their defense in Cleveland is objectively better. So I'm sure he'll be happy to be playing in the playoffs with them again.
Yeah, absolutely. There's some other guys you could argue would be NHL players too if there wasn't such a logjam at certain positions this last year. Some other guys that have a lot of NHL experience. Real quick, I want to run down this real quick. Nick Blankenberg. He has an entire season in the NHL under his belt. He's proven that he can be really good at what he does when he's healthy. Jason says TFW, Trey Fix-Wolansky has to be the GOAT that he is. Yes, Trey Fix-Wolansky, I believe, has the most goals and I think assists and points for like any Cleveland Monster ever. I know for sure he has the most goals. And that's pretty impressive. Yeah, he's not been on the team for like years and years and years like some other people have, but absolutely dominant in this league. I wish that would carry over and translate better to the NHL. We'll see. A couple other Cleveland Monsters who have some decent NHL time. Of course, there's David Jiricek, who is, fairly young guy. There was a lot of talk about him getting more playing time on the Blue Jackets this year, but where he's at right now, I think that this could really fit him. Just getting some wins in the AHL playoffs could really help bolster his confidence and abilities for next year. Jake Christensen has some time in the NHL. These are all defensemen now. Marcus Bjork has some decent.
My guy.
And as far as our goalies go, I think the one with the most experience currently has to be Malcolm Subban, even though he really didn't spend a whole lot of time in the NHL. But it was kind of funny. I don't know if you guys heard the other night on the NHL Network, he got a shout out from his brother, PK Subban, and he was saying how he's rooting for the PK Subban's rooting for the Monsters and getting that Calder Cup. And then they have like veteran guys like Josh Dunn. You got Stefan Matteau. And one of the newest, most impactful players for the Blue Jackets recently, Luca Del Belez, is on the Monsters as well. So looking forward to these guys. Hopefully they can come away with some wins here, build their confidence up, and hopefully we can see them again. After the last time the Lake Erie Monsters won the Cup, we did see the Blue Jackets then win their first playoff series a few years later. So, maybe there's hope. Maybe.
Eugene can use some of those monsters.
Yeah. That's what really is going to have to happen. Is whoever comes in next has to be aware and able to deal with some younger guys and help them develop properly and as a team. I think that's one thing was with this last year, the players individually are great, but as a team, they haven't been quite gelled together yet.
Right.
So, anything else Monsters related you guys want to throw out there?
I just think it's kind of interesting how it all works out this way. Maybe it's just a coincidence. But you look back when the Monsters won the Calder Cup in 2016, they had two goalies that have proven that they can be good when given the chance, and that was Jonas Korpisalo and Anton Forsberg. And you fast forward to now, they got Pavel Kaijan and Jet Greaves. So it's just kind of interesting to see how it all works out like that sometimes, and we'll just see how it goes.
Yeah. This is the future of the Blue Jackets, so that's part of why we pay attention to this a lot and really cheer these guys on.
Yes, and speaking of the future of the Blue Jackets, like I said earlier on in the show, Blue Jackets prospect William Whitelaw, who originally played at Wisconsin, has moved on from Wisconsin and is going to play at Michigan starting next season. So again, the whole Michigan to Blue Jackets connection continues. And just when I thought that I was done paying attention to Michigan hockey because Gavin Brindley wasn't there anymore, Michigan pulled me right back in and said, nope, you're not done yet. And along comes William Whitelaw. So it's becoming a big list now of just the amount of players that have played at Michigan and have either played for the Blue Jackets or will eventually play for the Blue Jackets. It's really something to see, and it's just impressive. And I saw this on Twitter. Someone from the hockey writers jokingly called Michigan the farm team for the Blue Jackets, and I thought that was funny, and I laughed at it. And now I'm going to start using that. I'm going to jokingly say from now on that Michigan is the farm team for the Blue Jackets.
That's pretty good. Yeah, it sparked some controversy here on Twitter the other day. So
Oh yeah, you got to pull
first
up
thing
that tweet.
I want to notice, or I wanted to note, is that if you ever think like that the Brew Jackets account people are being mean to you, you're like, man, that's kind of a dick reply, or like, what a douchebag. Yeah, it's me. I'm the one probably arguing with you.
Yeah.
I'm not. I don't care. I really don't.
Yeah.
I'll throw some shade, man, because some of y'all are just some goofy ass dudes. I tell you
Yeah.
what. Look, I've said this before, and I've said this again. There's some stuff like on social media that you're not gonna like. There's stuff I don't like. Oh, sorry. Do you guys hear that in the background for me?
No.
No? Okay, cool. There's tons of stuff, but when you find something that you don't like and you see it and you're like, oh man, that's a really shitty opinion, or what a bad call out, or this and that, right? Maybe it's not for you. If you don't like it, you can just move on.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not for you. Maybe you replying is better for our numbers and better for us than you just moving on and going and living your life instead of sitting there arguing with me when I've been drinking at like 1 a.m. All right. Because personally, I have a fun time with you. I love arguing.
Yeah,
I will do it just to argue with you. So just know that if you're trying to talk shit about us on the internet, I'm laughing at you and I don't care because I'm having fun.
Yeah.
That being said,
I think
there's
we
a
need
couple guys.
Yeah, we need to put the tweet up on the screen there, Hefty Talk.
Oh yeah, sure. Here, let me get to our profile here real quick, and we're gonna share this tab. And it's kind of a ways down here. We repost a lot. I tweet a lot. Kevin tweets a lot. Kevin made the original tweet. I just happened to come in and I saw some people being rude, and I have no problem being rude back. So we started this whole thing. So these are guys who have all played for the Cleveland Blue Jackets, who have come from the Michigan Wolverines college hockey team. We're going to start from the back and go forward. We're going to go with Tyler Mott, Sean Hunwick, of course, Zach Rowensky, Jack Johnson, Nick Blankenberg, who we mentioned earlier, Gavin Brindley, one of the newest, one of the newest members of the Blue Jackets. Then we have Kent Johnson, who unfortunately was injured this year. I think his stats would have been a lot nicer this year if he weren't injured. And then, of course, the top guy that we're looking at is Adam Fantilli. So, at the bottom of this, oh yeah, and then William Whitelaw is like what Kevin was just saying. That's why we kind of started talking about this. Yeah. And then you have the joke, the farm team for the Blue Jackets. So
with joking emoji. So clearly we're joking here, people. Like, come on now. And you know what? Before you get into your thing, Hefty Duck, I'm just gonna say this, and I'm just gonna get it out there. Is that there's one tweet out there that said, "How have they benefited from it?" And it's like, okay, fine, you're allowed to think that, but if you're someone that likes the Blue Jackets and you don't know how the Blue Jackets have benefited from Michigan being good at hockey, then I have to question you. I really do. I have to question you. Why are you not paying attention? Michigan is historically good at hockey. and they put a crazy amount of really good talent out in the NHL. The Blue Jackets are one of the teams that have benefited from it. You could go down the list of teams that have players that are good, and more likely than not, they probably played at Michigan. So for me to say that the Blue Jackets have benefited from Michigan being good at hockey is objectively true. And for some of you people say, how have they benefited? I question that. Like, please pay attention. And for some of you freaking out, stop. Please stop. It's cringe, and just please stop. We've said, Lance, Hefty Duck and I and other people on the show, we've all said it multiple times on the show that we all like Ohio State. We don't like Michigan, but we understand and acknowledge and appreciate Michigan being good at hockey because that's benefited the Blue Jackets and just the NHL in whole. But generally speaking, because we're a Blue Jackets themed podcast, it's benefited the Blue Jackets. And I understand you don't like Michigan, and yay, go Ohio State. I'm right there with you. Go Ohio State. But sometimes you just need to take a step back off, put down the Ohio State, colored glasses, and realize that not everything is Ohio State and Michigan, and not everything is bad about Michigan and all this other stuff. And, that's all I'm going to say is that for some of these people to freak out because I said something that's objectively true, that the Blue Jackets had benefited from Michigan being good at hockey, for you to freak out is just weird. And in my opinion, and whenever you're done talking, Hefty Duck, Owen has something to say about this as well, because he told me he was going to say something. Anyways, rant over for now. I'm done talking. Go Hefty Duck.
All right. So I want to address one of the things. First and foremost is that the Blue Jackets haven't benefited from the Michigan Wolverines because the Blue Jackets have had losing seasons for the past 3 years now. Well, if you look at who has the point shares on the team and who has been doing some of the best and the most consistent, unfortunately, last year was not the case because he was injured almost the entire year. But look at Zach Werenski, for example. He was second in points on the team this year as a defenseman. Yes, there's other defensemen in the NHL who have done better, but he is ranked out of all NHL players, forwards included, 86th in the NHL for points. That's huge. Like, for a defenseman on a losing team, because keep in mind, they're losing and they don't have as like certain other people that maybe could help them out a little more. That's a benefit. The other thing to keep in mind is some of these players are brand new, like Gavin Brindley. Like, how are we gonna? He played one game. How are you gonna say like we haven't benefited when we haven't seen anything yet? So the second thing I want to address is the amount of Michigan Wolverines in the NHL. First, I'm just going to go down the list here from the Michigan mgoblue.com/sports on the ice hockey page. Johnny Beecher, Boston Bruins. Matty Beniers, Seattle Kraken. Nick Blankenburg, we talked about, Blue Jackets. Thomas Bordelot. Am I saying that right? San Jose Sharks. Of course, Gavin Brindley, as we mentioned. Brendan Brisson. Shit, I'm butchering these guys' names because I'll be fair, I don't know some of these guys very well. He's on the Vegas Golden Knights. Andrew Cogliano, Colorado Avalanche. He's probably one of the older guys on this list. JT Comfort, Detroit Red Wings. Kyle Connor, Winnipeg Jets. Andrew Kopp, Red Wings again. Philip Di Giuseppe. I also don't know if I'm saying that right. The Canucks. Fantilli. Luke Glendening on the Lightning. Luke Hughes on the Devils. Quinn Hughes on the Canucks. Zach Hyman on the Oilers. Jack Johnson, who we talked about earlier. He's currently on the Avalanche. Kent Johnson. Dylan Larkin, Red Wings. Will Lockwood, Panthers. John Merrill, Minnesota Wild. Tyler Mott, Tampa Bay Lightning. Frank Nazar III, Chicago Blackhawks. Hold on. I'm partway through this. Josh Norris, Senators. Pacioretty. Sorry, I'm just going to speed this up. Max Pacioretty, Owen Power, Mackie Samoskevich, Jacob Truba, Zach Werenski, and Philadelphia Flyers Cam York. So there's tons of people who have benefited from
yeah.
Michigan hockey. This is why we are celebrating these individual players. We unfortunately have not been able to celebrate the team as a whole, and them winning very much this year. But as individual players, these guys have all been benefits to their team. You don't ever hear like, oh man, if not for Zach Rowensky, we would have won that game. No, he's like the only reason we're not losing more. Like shit. Anyway, that's mostly my rant. The other rant I have is, well, I just like picking on you guys. I really do. So many of you guys say the exact same thing in this post. And there's just a few names that keep popping up and popping up. I'm not going to call you out personally here. That's not the point of this. I just want to say, I understand your distaste for the team this year, and I understand why you're disappointed and unhappy with them. I'm not extremely happy with them myself, but we don't have to attack players individually. And also, there's no use in getting online and just being a negative little dick all fucking day and thinking you're hot shit from that. Like, people enjoy this. People can have fun. People can like what they like. You know what? I said it earlier. If you don't like it, maybe it's not for you, and move on. I think it's pretty simple. I think you look like a fool when you're sitting there arguing with some drunk douchebag late at night. It's just ridiculous to me. Anyway, I'm going to let Owen say his piece, and then we're going to drop it, and we're going to move on because we got some other stuff to talk about. So go ahead and shoot, Owen.
I just got paid, so we're gonna go in hardcore on these motherfuckers. All right. Ohio State football is not the end all and be all when you're talking about a Blue Jackets hockey organization. Oh my God. When Lance was scrolling, the amount of Buckeye profile pictures I see comment on hockey is ridiculous because they have no idea what they're talking about.
Yeah.
And in the case of Sean, I don't even think Sean Hoy is that big of a Buckeye guy. So we're just going to go ahead and give you some numbers. That's all we have to do. That's all you have to say are the numbers. Adam Fantilli, 27 points in 49 games as a rookie, and he was hurt. Big old lacerated calf. Okay.
Freak accident.
Taken out for the rest of the year. He was in the, Calder race. Look at Kent Johnson, who had a 40-point year for the Jackets, being underutilized this year by a coach that I don't necessarily care for, but he's got that in him.
Yeah.
And you can't even mention these guys without talking about Zach Werenski, the leading defensive point getter of the Blue Jackets. It's over after that point. How can you say that we have not benefited from Michigan hockey when we have Zach Werenski, when we have Adam Fantilli, when we have the future careers of Gavin Brindley and Luca and William Whitelaw?
Yeah.
You got all of these guys. I've said my piece. You just look like a big idiot when you say stuff like that.
Big mean idiot. No, yeah, for real though. Y'all look goofy. Like,
it is hilariously goofy that in a team sport we're going to pick apart the players from Michigan and say, oh well, we're not benefiting from them. Bullshit. Are we benefiting all that much from Daniil Tarasov? We benefiting from all the guys that we picked that aren't from Michigan? We're benefiting from them.
Are you benefiting from our general manager? Wait.
Yeah.
There isn't one.
There is no GM right now.
And when there is a new one, and whatever happens this year, if Pascal Vincent gets a full summer of training and a full training camp and under him as opposed to being thrown in the position, and maybe a new GM comes in, makes some moves, makes some decisions, maybe that might make a bigger impact on the team than like 3 dudes who are benefiting the team, but their impact's not felt because team's not playing as a team, and they kind of just suck, right? We all know that. We all are aware they're not good, but we're here rooting for them still. So if you're gonna root for the team, can you just like not be such a negative dick? Like
3
please.
players can't win a hockey game.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Y'all are
fair.
used to hating.
That was tried a lot this year with the
Yeah.
top line.
And another thing I want to get at there is that clearly, when I tweeted this out originally on the the Twitter page, I was just throwing this out there. I did not think it would just blow up as big as it did, but it did. And that's the thing about Twitter, in my own personal experience. You have one tweet where you put a lot of thought and effort and hard work into it, and you throw it out there, and then it gets like 1 retweet and 2 likes.
Yeah.
And you throw out like one tweet where you don't put a lot of effort into it. You just throw it out there and it goes like crazy. And it gets people going, and some people and a lot of people like it. And I'm looking at my phone here. I'm looking at the tweet on my phone here. And clearly this tweet was good enough that people liked it, because as of now, when I'm looking at this, when we're doing the show, as of now, as I'm looking at my phone, it probably changes by the time the show's done. But as of now, the tweet has 21 retweets, 7 quote tweets, 204 likes, 13 bookmarks, and it has 33,000 views. So clearly it did pretty well there because it did something that people like. So yes, it's okay to tweet your negativity and your positivity and everything. And you may not like it, like Hefty Duck says, you may not like it. That's okay. Maybe move on. But people clearly liked it. And again, I didn't think it'd be this big when I made the tweet, but it is what it is. But it's interesting to see that people liked the joke that I made, basically that Michigan is the farm team for the Blue Jackets.
One of the funniest tweets I saw back at that was a guy who said something about like, well, why aren't they cheating to win or something like that? Then I was like, that's a pretty funny one. I like that. Once again, football related joke. But anyway, we're gonna leave it there because I gotta do the ad read.
Interesting.
And maybe we'll bring it back up here after the ad read. But I do have to do this while we're still here in the middle of the episode for y'all. So first up, we got Promisio. If you're an entrepreneur wanting to increase your profitable opportunities by 200% or more within the next 3 to 6 months, then stick around till the end because there's an additional piece to this offer that is unheard of in today's market. At Promisio, they provide a hybrid of done with you and done for you services that transform 5 areas of your business to make the biggest impact in the shortest amount of time. And it works with almost any business. They'll go over details of what you offer, your process of delivery, your sales script, and your process for client acquisition and lead generation. They will also provide you with a structured methodology for continuous growth. If you're unhappy for any reason, they'll refund your purchase within the first 14 days, no questions asked. Collectively, they have worked with professional NFL athletes, record labels, and sales reps from the Inc. 5000 and multi-billion companies. A few have messaged back saying that they now have too many leads that they can handle. Others have said that after using their services, they've been able to decrease their hands-on working hours by up to 50%, which has made a significant positive impact on their daily lives. One of the reasons it works so well is that they will be with you every step of the way. They're able to do this in part because they only work with 10 clients at a time to ensure you are fully taken care of. Promisio is more than just a service. They're a vehicle to take you from where you currently are to where you want to be. As for the additional piece mentioned earlier, Promisio is giving new clients who complete the full program in 2024 1 month of free lead generation services with no management fees and no ad spend. That's 1 month of free lead generation. Promisio provides entrepreneurs with a done-for-you solution for a predictable flow of high-quality leads, which also means more paying clients. If you want to strengthen the foundations of your business and get high-quality leads every single month, reach out soon, as there are very limited spots available. Book a consultation by visiting promisio.co. That's promisio.co. And if you got a button at the Blue Jackets last game, we actually have this sponsored thing because they helped me buy the button maker so I could make all those stupid buttons for you. So, go check them out. If you do check them out over at promisio.co, tell them that Brew Jacket sent you or Lance, either one. and maybe he'll treat you to something special too. So the other thing we got going on here is the DraftKings. So the chase for the Stanley Cup is on. And if you're looking to light the lamp, nothing beats the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. From the start of the playoff periods all the way to the hoisting of the cup, DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered with same-game parlays, live betting, odds boosts, and so much more. So let's check out some NHL DraftKings odds right now on the DraftKings
Can we look
Sportsbook.
at draft lottery odds?
Not yet. Can we bet on that? I'll look into that for next episode because I really want to know if we can bet on that because I know who I'm not betting for. Tonight we have some crazy games going on. The series have been hot so far. I don't think there's been a boring series yet. Maybe the Islanders series. I don't know. So
Capitals.
we got the Caps one too. Boston Bruins versus Toronto Maple Leafs. On the money line, the Bruins are a -112 and Maple Leafs are a -108. I'm not exactly sure how that works. I'm not an odds maker guy. I'm more of a stats guy, not an odds guy. But we're at the Golden Knights tonight too against the Stars. Golden Knights are +136. The Stars seem favored to win at a -162 on the money line. Then also we got the Kings versus the Oilers. Personally, I think that the Oilers might win this series, but the game tonight, that's not betting advice, by the way. Don't ever listen to anything I say as advice, let alone betting advice. LA Kings are a +154, and the Edmonton Oilers are a -185. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. New customers bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's code THPN only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Yes.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER, or in West Virginia, visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort. 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. cdkng.com.co/ice for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources. Copyright NHL 2024, all rights reserved. And we have a comment from Kevin Valentine. And it says CBJ with a bunch of exclamation points. So hell yeah, Kevin, love to see it. Thanks for commenting on the show. Thanks for viewing. That's that Kevin, by the way.
Our Kevin.
Our Kevin, yes.
Hashtag our Kevin.
But a lot of
Hashtag our Kevin.
Free our Kevin.
Yes, as we always do on the show, from an Ohio sports betting standpoint, you get baseball seasons here, so you can bet on the Reds and the Guardians. The Crew are back, so you could bet on the Crew.
Oh, yeah. They got a big game coming up too.
Yep. The Cavs are in the playoffs, so you could bet on the Cavs. Obviously, the Monsters in the playoffs too, so you could bet on the Monsters. So a lot of stuff going on in the Ohio sports world that you could bet on.
Hell yeah. Yeah, right now the Guardians are playing the Red Sox. They're down 0-2 in the top of the third. Looks like Carrasco's up pitching for the Guardians again. Speaking of, I write about the Blue Jackets for Inside the Rink. I'm also writing about the Guardians for Inside the Diamonds this year. I'm just shouting myself out real quick because I can. Go check me out.
Yeah.
You don't have to like what I write, but check me out. I'd appreciate it. So we're getting kind of closer, further down into the episode here. Is there anything you guys want to talk about yet?
Well,
sneak in there.
Jamie Sapinski was generally speaking, when the Blue Jackets win a game, of course they pass out the Kepi, and generally speaking, they pass out the Kepi to the player, and it's the Blue Jackets player who has a Kepi that, in his opinion, he feels like who was the best player of the game that day. And of course, the Blue Jackets finish out the season on April 16th, 2024, when they beat the Carolina Hurricanes 6-3, and Zach Werenski had the Kepi. And you know what? I like this. It was a good tribute to to Jason Stepinski, who's one of the equipment people for the Blue Jackets, and that was his last game. And Jason Stepinski, basically, he's been, Columbus hockey for a good chunk of his life, because in the 90s, he was working for the Columbus Chill. And then once the Columbus Chill went away, he got a job with the Blue Jackets. And he's ever since then, he's been working with the Blue Jackets, and he's worked a lot of games being one of the equipment managers for the Blue Jackets. Sticks and skates and, gloves and helmets and jerseys and you name it, he probably did it. So that was his last game, and Zach Werenski made the decision to give the Kepi for that game to Jason Stepinski. So shout out to you, Jason Stepinski, for all you've done for not just the Columbus Chill, but also the Blue Jackets. And you get the Kepi, and best of luck to you and your future endeavors.
Oh yeah, I did see that. I thought that was pretty neat and nice of the guys too. In my experience, in watching the team and just seeing a little bit of what they do behind the scenes, the players and everyone is so supportive of the staff there. I've never met a single person working for the Blue Jackets organization. And I'm talking like from security all the way up. I've never met someone at all that's like been rude to me or like short with me even, or just anything. Like it's pretty impressive, and it's good that I like seeing them honoring them up a little bit there too. I think I just heard a whistle in someone's background, if you don't mind.
Sorry, I'm playing shell. Real important game here.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. Speaking of, let's do a quick shout out for the FHL. Right now, we're doing FHL versus HCA. Right now, you can follow them at on Twitch at what is it? Is it just on your own Twitch?
It's all under Bjork Swag.
Bjork Swag. All right, go follow them on Twitch. You can see us. Say some funny and stupid shit even more. So, anyone else got anything they want to throw in real quick?
Well, there's more. I've already talked about this on the show, but I'll say it again. As you know, you talked about those buttons, and you and I, Hefty Duck, passed them out at the show, at the Blue Jackets game, and people enjoyed it, and it went well. And there's still more of those. Hefty Duck still has more buttons, and they will be passed out again at some other Blue Jackets game. So be on the lookout for that, because
I've been thinking about at some point this summer. I've been thinking about doing like another run of them, and pretty much offering like a 3-pack of like all the 3 logos we have, for like shipping and handling, I guess. Which I'm gonna put in an envelope, so it really wouldn't be very much, like $1 maybe. It's mostly just to cover the shipping because I spend a lot of my own money on it already. So, but well, I mentioned sponsor money. I spent a lot of sponsor money on that too. But yeah, they're pretty dope. So one thing I want to mention before we kind of like get on to like the more personal things here, Zach Werenski and Johnny Joe are going to be on the 2024 U.S. Men's National Team for the IIHF Men's World Championship. So this team is going to be kind of stacked. In fact, I see another former Blue Jacket here. Oh, yeah, and then Elvis Merzlikins is going to be on Latvia, but I'm cheering for the U.S., so good luck, buddy.
America.
Good luck in Latvia, I guess.
He's going to let the monster out.
Shit, dude. That still gets me. Sorry, Mertzy. That was...
We love you, Elvis, but...
We love you. All right, so the 2024 U.S. National Men's Team is going to be the forwards. It's Matt Boldy, Cole Caulfield, Joel Farabee. I say Joel.
Young Beezer?
Joel Farabee.
Young Beezer?
We got Young Beezer is getting banned soon. We got Johnny Gaudreau. Johnny Gaudreau is going to be in the forwards there, as I just said. Luke Kunin. We got Dylan Larkin, Shane Pinto, Brady Kachuk, and Trevor Zegras. What the hell kind of lines are these going to be like? Like, it's got to be... This is going to be interesting. Defense, we have I was going to say the other Hughes brother, but so we have Luke Hughes on defense, Seth Jones, former Blue Jacket, Jake Sanderson, Alex Vlasic, who he has the same last name as the Pickles. Like, I'm not kidding. Like Vlasic, that's kind of cool. And then we have Zach Rowensky. Goalie is Alex Leon.
Alex
One of
Lyons,
those
former
guys.
Flyer.
And obviously that's only one, so we might see some other backups there too. I mean, so like the U.S. men's national team has been competing already without these guys, as far as I'm aware, to like get their position and their spot in the tournament, which is going to start May 10th through 26th. It's going to be in Ostrava and Prague in Czechia. May 10th to the 26th. So if you want to watch a couple Blue Jackets players play, go check them out. I'm not sure about Team Canada yet. We only have those 3 players confirmed. I think it was talked about some of the guys maybe playing for Team Canada yet. So
there may be a
see.
potential Blue Jackets connection to Team Canada, which is
Well,
this. And the connection is that if Adam Fantilli is feeling well enough to play and healthy enough that he said this, that he would go play for Team Canada if asked. And another reason to consider why that could happen is Rick Nash is the GM for Team Canada in the World Hockey Championship. So you have to figure that, if Adam Fantilli is good enough to go, that he'd go find Adam Fantilli and say, hey, come play for Team Canada. So there is that potential to have 2 Blue Jackets connections for Team Canada. Right now it's only 1, which is Rick Nash, but there's a potential for it to be 2 with Rick Nash and Adam Fantilli.
yeah, dude, what a legend, Rick Nash. I tell you what, that's so cool that he gets the opportunity to be the general manager for them. It's some great experience too. The Blue Jackets talked about, so they're in the search for the new general manager right now. The Blue Jackets themselves are as an NHL organization. And one of the first things to come out was them saying that they're going to be looking outside the organization for someone that's experienced, who has been that has had the winning records before, who has had winning teams before. That's what they're going to be looking for. So almost immediately, pretty much Rick Nash was counted out. I personally still think he would be an okay candidate. I don't think maybe he's the best because, like we mentioned, experience. But this could be setting him up for the future.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like special assistant to the general manager for a while too. I don't know what all that entails. Obviously, then he's the director of player development. Yeah, and I think that's cool. I mean, he's the one that goes out and I think gets a lot of these dudes to sign some contracts, talks to them, and all these kids are getting talked to, like Rick Nash, one of the greatest players.
I mean, one of those guys that Rick Nash went out and saw a lot was Gavin Brindley, and there's other people too that he just go out there, see him play, talk to them, see what's going on, how they're feeling, and eventually do get to that point like, hey, we want you to play for the Blue Jackets. And eventually they do get to that point where they sign the contract. But like, can you imagine if you're like Gavin Brindley or some William Whitelaw and their Blue Jackets prospect, and you're playing your game, and then oh shit, there's Rick Nash. Like you feel like you gotta feel so cool that Blue Jackets legend is there to talk to you and see what's going on. So that's got to be pretty cool. And for some reason, I don't necessarily understand it, that once the news came out that Yarmo was no longer the GM and the Blue Jackets were looking for a new GM, that some people in the Blue Jackets fan base on Twitter immediately jumped to like, oh my God, they're going to pick Rick Nash and all this other stuff, and freaking out about it a bit too much in my opinion. And it's like, okay, maybe, but when then John Davidson blatantly comes out to the public, different articles in the Columbus media and talking to people on like radio interviews in the Columbus media and stuff, and basically says that he basically told Rick Nash, no, that you're not getting that it's not going to be that. And Hefty Duck is right. The Blue Jackets have said that they're looking for experience, someone that has proven experience of winning records, winning teams, but guys that can help build the Blue Jackets up to the next step, because under Yarmo and JD and everyone else, they've done a good job of slowly building themselves up, getting good draft picks, good prospects, signing guys like Erica Branson, Johnny Gaudreau, and a whole bunch of other people. But the next step is building yourself up to take you to the next level, to where you can be more consistently good on a consistent basis and help develop some of this talent that you have. And two names I keep seeing pop up a lot, whether it be in articles or on Twitter, is Mark Hunter from the London Knights and Matthew Darsh from the Tampa Bay Lightning. A little story background. Mark Hunter works with the London Knights, and the London Knights are in the Ontario Hockey League, and they're basically good all the time. And you name a bunch of players that are in the NHL, and there's a good chance that they probably played for the London Knights. They're just that good. Rick Nash played for the London Knights. Basil McRae, who works for the Blue Jackets now, he worked for the London Knights. So there's that connection there. Maybe you could see why that could make sense if the Blue Jackets made the decision to go that route. Matthew Darsh, on the other hand, he's been working for the Tampa Bay Lightning, and he's the assistant GM, and he's played a big role in helping the Lightning get to where they are today, which is being consistently good and making the playoffs and being in the Stanley Cup final 3 of the last 4 seasons, winning 2 of those, developing a lot of that talent to help them get to where they are today, and also being consistently good. And what do you know? Sure enough, the Lightning are good again, and they're in the playoffs again this season. So that would be, for me personally, that'd be an interesting way if they went that way with Matthew Darsh. And there are many good options out there, and I'd be okay with it. But my first choice, me personally, would be Matthew Darsh. And the way it's going, it certainly seems that way, that it's going to be him or one of these other guys, because their names just keep popping up. Their names just keep popping up in the rumors on Twitter. So, 1 or 2 times, like, oh, that's interesting. Maybe there's something there. But then when your names keep popping up again and again and again and again, there's probably something to it.
Another name I've been seeing popping up here and there. I saw a guy write an article about this a little while ago, and that's Jeff Gorton, former coworker of John Davidson there. And the guy who wrote the article the other day, that was me. Yeah, I'm the one that said it. Go check it out. It's a good one. But yeah, we have a good question here, somewhat, from the Moscow Mule. It says, how can we expect success with a new GM when this franchise has only seen failure for 24 years? Here's the thing. We can't. There's no way you could say, like, oh, hey, this is going to be what changes it. It's going to make some change. We don't know what. All we can do at this point is be hopeful. And I know it's been a long 24 years. I get it. But at this point, that's what there is.
And I know the history of the Blue Jackets hasn't been the greatest, but to say failure for 24 years is wrong. It's mostly been bad, but there has been some good moments, some success for the Blue Jackets. I cannot agree with that. I know it hasn't been the greatest, but to say failure for 24 years is wrong. There has been some success. Is it, what we want? No. We want more, and they're certainly building themselves up to that. But in my opinion, for people to say that failure for 24 years is just wrong, in my opinion, because there has been some success. Is it enough? No. And they're building on that. But for people to say that failure for 24 years, in my opinion, is wrong when there has been some success.
And Jason says he knows how to mess with payroll too. I forget who exactly you're talking to
I
on
think
that
that
one.
if I'm taking a guess here, I think Jason is talking about the GM from assistant GM from Tampa Bay.
Gotcha. Yeah, very obviously. Yeah. These guys are good, just like how Vegas is pretty good at it. But
I'm sorry,
right.
I just got to call that out. Like, Mark Stone,
It's in the rules. Oh, Darsh. Okay, he's talking about not Darsh.
Yeah,
Darsh.
It's within the rules.
It's just like, okay, Mark Stone, you're in a very unfortunate situation. You hurt your spleen, and your spleen
Lacerated spleen.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Allegedly,
But like you hurt your spleen pretty bad, and that's very unfortunate that you were in that situation. And maybe there's no shenanigans behind this, and it's totally fine if that's the case. Good for you, but just the timing of that just looks awful for you to be out for the entire season.
He missed 24 games.
Yeah, for you to be out for a bit and then magically you're okay when the playoffs comes around. It just kind of looks bad, and it just makes you wonder what's really going on there. If Vegas is pulling a Tampa Bay Lightning, and
Well,
I'm hurt, but then magically I'm totally okay when the playoffs comes around. And it's stuff like that. It just kind of makes me wonder. It's like, come on now. Come on.
If it was Matthew Darch that came up
yeah.
using
That's
it
what we
IR.
Yeah.
We need that.
So I don't think we can be too mad since none of our teams are even in the playoffs. But
No.
I get what you're saying. Anyway,
we can't.
We gotta end the show. So I'm gonna need everyone to say their final piece, shout what they want to shout out, and we'll be done. We're gonna start down there with you, young Beezer. You got anything to say about? I know that there's a certain player that you would probably want to congratulate right now.
You got dang right. Shout out to my boy Jake Voracek for a fantastic 15-year career. 10 years with the Flyers. His best time was here. Don't even argue with me.
1,058 games.
Yes. And, he was great. He was a great player. He had that energy, and he kept it real. This past night, so
Oh yeah, real quick. One last comment here. We got Jason says, "Good show. Tell the trolls to kick rocks." I think I said something worse than that earlier, but we'll say that one too. Shit. So dope. Thanks, young Beezer. William, you got anything you'd like to add on here? Anyone you want to talk shit to? Call out. The norm.
I ain't gonna call anybody out. I'm just gonna say thank y'all for tuning in. Follow Brew Jackets on TikTok and everywhere. Follow me on Twitter. I'm 75 followers away from 1K. So
Bro.
don't let him hit.
follow me.
Good, nice. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Dope. All right, Owen. Bjork swag.
Two
Anything
quick
else you wanna
things.
shout out?
Number
Go.
one, Sergei Fedorov for head coach of the Columbus Blue Jackets. It's gonna happen. I'm gonna will it into existence.
It could happen.
Number two, follow the FHL through me, Bjork Swag. We got some teams that are unclaimed. We have a series with the HCA. We're growing in size and numbers. You might want to join while you can. That's the FHL.
Hell yeah, it's a fun time. Dope. All right, Kev, take her away.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I just saw this on Twitter, and I'm laughing at it that Owen made the tweet that said #RKevin.
That's funny.
It's funny.
Oh yeah, I retweeted that one already.
Yeah, I did too. Anyways, like William said, you should totally, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel because it's cool and it helps out our show. And that's greatly appreciated. So you should totally do it. So, yeah. Anyways, and like I do on the show every week,
Cooper.
So,
Come on, William, you gotta say it.
Cooper.
There we go. There we go.
anyways, it's a picture like I do every week on the show. It's a picture of my brother's dog, Cooper. So, there's that. There's a little inside joke meme that you probably don't understand unless you hang out on the Discord, on Owen's Discord, which is this.
Oh, or if you come watch FHL, you'll understand this one too.
Yeah.
Come do it.
Dang straight, brother.
Which is Oreo cow.
All hail the Orico.
All hail.
Hail.
Anyways, we've already pissed people off that don't understand things, and you know what? Why not? Let's just poke the bear even more. Who cares? Zach Werenski wore this Michigan suit during the 2016-2017 season, and when he did that, the Blue Jackets started winning games and kind of went on a run there. So, I'm just saying, in the event that Zach Werenski ever sees this, please, would you wear this suit again? So, like, the Blue Jackets can go on a run and win more games again? I'm just saying.
Just in case it would help. Just in case. It's not going to hurt.
No. So,
Can't get much worse.
And, like all the Michigan players for the Blue Jackets can have some fun with it and wear Michigan stuff too. And I don't know, some other Blue Jackets players could have some fun with this too and wear Ohio State stuff. I mean, do Ohio State versus Michigan because you know what? We're getting a hockey game at the shoe and more, they're going to shove Ohio State, Michigan stuff in this, whether if you like it or not. So let's just have fun with it. And, of course, like I said, the Blue Jackets are getting an outdoor game at the shoe. Everyone get hyped, get excited. I am. This is going to be great.
Let's go.
The Blue Jackets posted a video the day that the news came out that they're getting an outdoor game, and I'm going to play this video twice. So here's the video.
Hell yeah.
The drum beat on that is amazing.
I agree. So we'll play.
I like it was like kind of like remind you of like the college band, yeah.
Yes. I'm gonna play it one more time. The video that the Blue Jackets posted on the day that the news came out that the Blue Jackets are getting an outdoor game. Let's go! Woo! And of course, 2 times is my favorite video of just Stinger just mooning Brutus. Take that. One more time. Take that. Yeah, a lot of fun. And then one last thing for me is, go check out Union Blue Soldiers, a fun Blue Jackets themed fan group that I run, and it's fun and it's cool. We do marches to cheer on the Blue Jackets, and we got a lot of fun stuff planned in the future. So you can go check out Union Blue Soldiers.
Do it, or you're a loser. Kidding.
Yeah.
I mean, takes one to know one. I'm joking. Self appreciation.
Give me
Hey,
some.
thank you all for being here. Thanks to the audio listeners once again. You guys rock. You've been rocking our socks lately with all the downloads, and it's quite incredible that anybody listens to us, let alone watches us. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
We love you. If you would like to support the channel, we don't have any like cool merch yet other than the buttons. Then just like and follow and share stuff. That'd be cool. Sorry, I'm kind of watching this baseball game right now too that's going on. bottom of the fourth. Boston's still leading Cleveland 2-0. That reminds me, I do cover the Guardians for Inside the Diamonds. Check me out there, and I cover the Columbus Blue Jackets for Inside the Rink as well. Go check me out. It's a fun time. I write goofy shit that you can also argue with me about if you want. You fucking trolls. So yeah, that's what we got for this week. Next week we're gonna be here at the same bat time, the same bat channel. Until then, be cool and maybe cool it on Twitter a bit. Yeah.
Hey,
Whatever. See you guys.